Hey there, movie fans. The first topic I'm going to talk about is the Man Web trailer. Now, I haven't been excited for this movie at all, just because based on what I know from Man Web, which isn't a lot, I don't know the other versions from the comics all that well when it comes to the backstory of the different versions. Like, the only version I know of Man Web is the one that's paralyzed in the legs and is an old lady. I remember she appeared in, like, the 90s Spider-Man animated series. So I'm not too familiar with her comic book origins and the different versions. But the reason why I just haven't been excited for this movie is because I don't find her an interesting enough character to lead a movie. And the version that I know isn't, like I said, is paralyzed in the leg. So she's not a very action type character. But when it comes to this trailer, I thought it was okay. It didn't make me any more excited for this movie. It didn't make me any less excited. I came out of this trailer just feeling the same way I feel about the Craven movie, where it's like, the trailer was fine. There's some things I'm kind of worried about with this movie. There's some things that look sort of interesting. I think the plot sort of looks interesting in Web with the idea of like doing a Terminator thing where she's going back a day, having to save these people from dying, from like what they become in the future. And I know we saw set photos where it looks like you're gonna see maybe younger. Two of the actors are playing younger versions of maybe of May and Ben of Peter's parents. So, like the Terminator aspect, the time travel aspect, that is interesting to me. And the brief glimpses we saw of the costumes for the three other versions of Man Web. Apparently, people have said that they look very accurate towards the comics because I think it's cool. The costumes that I saw in the trailer look really cool. The negatives with this trailer is that it does have a lot of cheesy, cringy dialogue to me. Even like I know people have made a meme of this where the one line with the girl from the 50 Shades of movie, which I do like her. She's a good actress. But she has this one line in the trailer where she's in the narration where they show her mom and that guy behind her. She's looking at a spider web and she says like her mom died from the bad guy. And it sounded very wooden. I don't remember the exact line, but it sounded very wooden in the line. There's already a meme going around about that line. The line is just really cheesy and cringe in this trailer. Also, this is what all these Spider-Less movies have looked like is that they all have this color graded to them where they look like movies that would be from like the early 2000s with the dialogue and just the feel of them. Like they feel a little cheap to me. Like the Mad Web trailer for the movie felt a little cheap for me at times, and like a TV movie or something with the color scheme. I don't know. It just had that like all these movies kind of have that feel to them, like the same color scheme, great into all these movies. So overall, and I also think that even though I think the Terminator plot could be interesting, I also think it looked very confusing and it's kind of convoluted. Like it could get convoluted with the plot in this movie. So overall, this trailer was okay. It sort of has me interested, but I didn't come out going like, "Oh man, I can't wait to see Man of Web." This didn't convince me yet that, "Oh man, this is like a movie I can't wait to see." But who knows with the second trailer? And you know what? Even though the idea of Man Web doesn't really interest me personally, I never thought a Lego movie would interest me, but I love the first Lego movie. I had zero interest in Barbie, but I watched it, gave it a shot, and even though I didn't think Barbie was fantastic or great or one of my favorite movies, I overall did have a fun time with that movie. So hopefully this Man Web is one of those movies where you know what I was just the first trailer so far was okay. The idea doesn't really interest me, but maybe they'll take the idea and do it in an interesting or really great way, concept wise. The next thing I want to talk about is Pedro Pascal is in final talks to play Mr. Fantastic. Now, let me stress this. He hasn't been cast as Mr. Fantastic. He's in final talks. He hasn't been officially cast to play the character. And look, talks can break down. But if he does get the Mr. Fantastic role, I think he's a great choice. Pierre Pascal is a fantastic actor. I think he could bend the elements I really want to see him as a fantastic because for me, the guy in the Tim Story movies I thought was horrible. The guy in the 2015 film, he was just forgettable to me in that movie. Neither of them were able to really bring when I think of Mr. Fantastic versus when I think of Mr. Fantastic, you need an actor that can bring a lot of gravitas towards the character, some weight to the character. I need to feel like he's the smartest guy in a room, and I also need to feel like he has maybe a little bit of arrogance in how smart he is. At the same time, I need to buy him as a leader, that he's the leader of the team. I didn't. None of those elements I bought in those previous two actors. And also, you need to get somebody that can really have good chemistry with who you're going to cast for Sue Storm, because to me that's another important element is making sure that Sue Storm, whoever you have cast as Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic, that they have good chemistry. But I think Pedro Pascal could get all those great elements of Mr. Fantastic, and I would love to see us agree into Mr. Fantastic. So if he gets the role, I think Pedro Pascal is a great choice if he ends up being cast and as Mr. Fantastic. The next thing I want to talk about is news that The Abyss and True Lies is being released on 4K. Aliens is also being released on 4K, and they're re-releasing two Avatar movies, like new editions on 4K. And I think Titanic is too. Honestly, I don't really care for Titanic, and the Avatar movies I don't really care for either. I love the aliens, but I have the Alien Quadrilogy box set. This Blu-ray box set was all four Alien films with both custom aliens, and it has hours of bonus features. So I don't personally need aliens on 4K. I'm perfectly fine with that great Blu-ray quadrilogy box set. But the two that I am really excited for that I can't wait for is True Lies and The Abyss. These are two of my favorite James Cameron movies. And those two movies have only ever been released on DVD. And I know there's been rumors for years about people who love films with me like me wanting to see those movies on Blu-ray or 4K. And I think now someone correct me on this. I think this is the first time where you have two movies that are just skipping Blu-ray and going straight to 4K when it comes to DVD to 4K, which I think is just interesting. But I think this is just exciting news for physical medium fans as someone who loves them best, who loves True Lies, and consider those two to be some of James Cameron's best movies, I'm so happy here that they're finally getting a physical release. Hell, I would have been fine with Blu-ray, but I'm just even more excited the fact of putting them out on 4K. And I know some people have said that the Terminator 4K, 4K release of Terminator 2, I heard from people apparently it wasn't all that great when it came to them putting that movie out on 4K, the physical release for that. So I know some people said James Cameron doesn't always he didn't do a great job at Terminator 2 when it came to resourcing of that movie, putting it on 4K. So hopefully he does a better job with these two. But I think this is great news for physical medium fans. The next thing I want to talk about is Master of the Universe movie is back on, but at Amazon. I know they already cast the lead guy to a lead. They already have a lead actor to play the main character, He-Man. Now, I'm really excited for this movie just because of the fact that I am a He-Man fan, but the one that I remember is the 2003 animated series. I haven't seen any of the new animated stuff. I have seen the original movie, which was pretty bad. I never saw the original animated series, but the 2003 animated series is the one that I remember. There was like a 2002 or 2003 animated series of He-Man that I remember loving. But I'm glad to see it's back on, and I think He-Man Master Universe could really, I think he could really make a great, cool fantasy movie out of that property. So hopefully it ends up being really good. I mean, I definitely trust Amazon more than I trust it being on Netflix with their track record of films. The next thing I want to talk about is that Coyote versus Acme film that Warner Brothers PNT wrote off as a tax write off, like they did with Batgirl and that Scooby Doo animated movie. Apparently, they got a bunch of backlash, and now they're shopping around to other studios and streaming services. And I thought this was cool because I didn't really have much interest in this movie. I mean, I'm a Looney Tunes fan, but I'm not like a diehard Looney Tunes fan. I mean, look, I love this Space Jam movie, the first one. I even actually love the Brendan Fraser Looney Tunes movie. So I can't remember the name of it, but it had Brendan Fraser, the guy from Mommy movies in it. So I am a fan, just not like a hardcore Looney Tunes fans. And I think the plot maybe had to do with Coyote like suing Acme for like destruction damage or something like that. But the reason I'm actually more excited for this movie and hope it some streaming service or studio picks it up is the fact that apparently they did a test screening for it and they got like great reactions from some filmmakers where they were saying it's really funny, and this actually made me really interested and want to see this movie now. And the fact the movie was completed. I know Batgirl wasn't completed. I don't know about the Scooby animated movie, whether that movie was completed when they wrote that as a task off. But I'm glad they got some backlash for doing it with the Coyote movie because I always felt bad for those two movies that happened. Like I'm somebody who's like if you get rid of a movie before you've started filming, I don't really feel that bad because I'm like, well, you didn't, if it's only like a script phase, we only wrote a script for it, but you didn't actually start filming, then I don't really feel bad for that movie personally. But when you like halfway through filming, when you completed a movie, especially this movie was completed, I'm glad to hear that apparently some test screening got good reactions, and it makes me actually want and hope for this movie for some studio streaming supposed to pick it up. And then, like I said, it makes me more excited for this Coyote versus Acme movie that I actually didn't have any interest in now. I mean, I didn't have any interest in before. Now I actually do now. So hopefully it gets picked up. I really hope it does. Next thing I want to talk about, and this is big news, obviously, is that the guy who directed Shang-Chi, he was going to direct Avengers King Dynasty, he's not directing anymore. So that movie doesn't have a white or director now. It does say though, and this is the good news, is that Vanity, him and Marvel on good terms though. The thing I do like about this news is that he said, Marvel still wants him around to direct future projects. You talk about him still working on Wonder Man. And Shang-Chi too I really would love to see a second Shang-Chi. Like I love the first one, and to me that's one of the best movies on the multiverse saga phase. And he's a great director, so I'm glad to see that he'll still be around directing future movies. And it sounds like I said, it was on Animal Good Tones, which is good to hear. Now, I know there's been rumors going around that they may be moving away from the Kang stuff. Because obviously you have the Jonathan Majors legal troubles going on, and, depending on how that turns out, we don't know yet. If he's, you have to wait to see if he's proven guilty or innocent. And then the fact that if you watch the end of season 2 of Loki, you could kind of like take King out of the picture the way season 2 of Loki ends, where you could go either way with that. It ends in a way where it's like you could easily take him off the board now and switch to a different villain for this multiverse saga, but it leaves it also open enough to be you could continue to go down the King. Wow. Now look, I think King is a great villain in the comics. But I can understand the rumors going around with the way season 2 of Loki ends, the fact that this movie doesn't have a white or director, and this movie doesn't come out until like 2026, and Secret Wars doesn't come out until 2027. I could understand the rumors going around that maybe this is all a sign that Marvel might decide to change gears. I know the rumors right now are Doctor Doom being the next villain. But look, what does this mean? I think they're going to change gears? Who knows? But I do think they haven't done a great job with King. And what I mean by that is that, look, I think Jonathan Majors has done a fantastic job in the role. But I don't think people feel like he's the big threat of this universe. And I think I think one of the things they kind of shot themselves in the foot was having him in the Ant-Man movie being beaten by Ant-Man. Yes, it wasn't a version of him, and look, we might not have given him enough time, this character, because like I say, he's a great character in the comics, but I don't think people are really connected to the King character right now. I think, look, Jonathan Majors is doing a great job in the role. I've, I've loved all three versions, even though I do think in the Ant-Man movie, I think they made a mistake in having him be beat by Ant-Man. Even the part where he's like the ants are taking him down kind of made him feel less of a threat. So I just feel like in that movie they kind of brought the character down at times in that movie. And I think it was a mistake to have him be introduced, even though it was a version of him that to introduce this one of the powerful versions of him in that movie. Because I do think coming out of that movie it's made him feel like less of a threat. And I don't think they've done a great job of defining his powers completely. And they've had a movie and 2 seasons of a show to do it, and just don't think people are connecting to the character So I think that's another issue with the multiverse saga because you go back to the Infinity Saga with Thanos, where that first Avengers movie, where you have Thanos' minions saying to challenge him is a court death, and you see the camera turn, you see Thanos turn around with a smile, and right away you got that this guy was a big threat, and through all his appearance, you always got the vibe leading up to Infinity War that this guy is a big threat. That this is something that is going to take a bunch of characters to beat. And to me, they haven't done it. They've dropped the ball with King so far. Now, they haven't given him, in my opinion, time either. But I think the Ant-Man movie did do damage to the character when it came to making him feel like a big threat that's going to require a bunch of characters to take him down. I mean, even the stadium scene at the end of Ant-Man did come off a little goofy. So I don't think this necessarily means I'm moving away from Kang, but they have obviously a lot of time right now to switch the wrestlers. And like I said, the news of this coming out after Loki, how Loki season 2 ends, I think you could go either way right now. I think they could take King out of the picture, but I also think there's a chance they could keep going with Kang, depending on how the case goes with Jonathan Majors and all of that. But when it comes to the problem of losing the director, I'm not too worried about that because they have plenty of time before the movie comes out. I am disappointed because I think I like after Shang-Chi, I think I would love to see what he'd done with an Avengers movie. But I'm also happy because I want to see a Shang-Chi too. So, I don't think this is like to me this isn't all bad news when it comes to losing my director because he left on good terms. He's still going to be directing Shang-Chi 2. He's still working on a Wonder Man movie. It sounds like it's still going to be part of the Marvel family. I'm working on future projects. So I'm happy about that. So that's all the movie news today. Until next time, movie fans.